It's the daily ritual Steve Bowles has come to dread. Violence in the Middle East and higher taxes at home mean filling up his fleet of 50 trucks now costs £36,000 a month, more than ever.
I can go right the way back to the fuel crisis of 1973-74, and it was never ever this tough. It's quite frightening when I see some of my competitors going out of business and others struggling to survive.
British motorists now spend more on fuel and more on fuel taxes than any other country in Europe. For a litre of diesel, they now pay on average £1.40, of which almost two-thirds is tax. Denmark is the next most expensive. Motorists in Germany, Italy and Spain all levy far less tax on fuel than Britain, putting UK hauliers at a disadvantage. Chancellor George Osborne's budget was set to add another 4p or so to a litre of fuel next month. He now says he may reconsider. With this year's budget deficit target set to be several £billion lower than forecast, this former Chancellor says Osborne has nothing to lose.
It would be wise just to pocket any undershoot, but I think it's quite likely that he will delay the fuel duty increase. That would cost £500 million. That is neither here nor there, a sense, compared with the sums we're talking about.
Britain's cash-strapped government needs every penny it can get, and motorists often make for handy cash cows at budget time. But given that the Treasury raked in £27 billion from fuel duty last year and looks set to earn even more this year, the Chancellor may have concluded that he can afford to give motorists a break.
And businesses too. Morrison's supermarket says high fuel prices sapped customer spending by £400 million in the past year. Pushing them any higher, says this campaigner, would have grave consequences.
If you do this, then you just jam up the machinery of consumerism. It stalls, it locks solid, and we don't spend anymore, so we don't get any growth. And that's not what they want at all. Cameron has said quite simply that the growth is a priority. If you stop growth, then we are, to use a technical term, knackered.
There's no plan to repeat the fuel protests of 2000 and 2005. The government may anyway have more to fear from people like Steve Bowles. A poll this week found half of all voters would plump for another party if it promised to lower fuel prices.